Hello, faithful Ultimate Frisbee players and enthusiasts of how to make their game better on their own without a throwing partner. Can it be done? I don't know. We're here to try to figure that out. And I'm standing far away so you can see what I'm doing, about as far as my lapel mic will reach, so I'm mostly on screen. If I had a throwing partner, I could practice throwing and catching all day. And I think really that's one of the best ways of getting better at Ultimate Frisbee in non-game situations is to play in the park with a buddy. You're not gonna have a mark on you, that's fine. I think a big part of getting better at Ultimate Frisbee is just throwing and catching. Just tons and tons and tons of repetitions of your backhand, your forehand, and catching in a way that is comfortable. So you're catching with your fingers on top up here, you're catching with your fingers underneath here, you're doing these catches when it's in front of you. Those are all catches you can practice on your own with this drill. So we'll get right into it. We're gonna do a pop pass and we're gonna catch it high up. So we're doing two skills here. We're doing a pop pass and a catch with your opposite hand. So it's kind of like juggling. And reps of this can actually just jack up how many hours you've spent with the Frisbee in your hand and kind of increase the comfort that you're gonna have during a game on the field. So let's go over the pop pass first. I hold the pop pass a little different than a backhand. So if this is my backhand and I'm pulling on this edge right here, I'm causing the disc to fly through the air with that kind of direction. Whereas a pop pass, the disc is actually flying through the air in an upward direction like a UFO. And I'm holding the disc quite differently. I've got some fingers closer to the center and I'm fanning the disc up into the air as flat as I can. It's a good short range pass. It's a good way to dump back to a handler. It's more useful than a short range backhand because that is harder to catch for someone who's standing a few feet away than this is. That stays in the air 3 times longer. So to do your pop pass, you stand square to where you're going to be passing and you use a lot of arm in this one. You can use your legs too, and you just kind of like push the Frisbee up in a way that it's level the whole time. And you don't even have to do it with spin to start. You can just throw it up as flat as you can and just let it kind of tumble through the air. Just practice throwing it up flat. And that's the beginning to your pop pass. I'm actually pushing the middle of the disc up and kind of giving the edge a bit of a flick to compensate for that tilt and try to get the back end up. What people usually do when they start pop passing is they throw it up at a 45-degree angle. That's not a pop pass, and that's actually kind of tricky to catch for your handler. You want to make everything really easy for your handler or for your other players or for a cutter. Someone's cutting through your space really quickly, you pop that in front of them, they've got a big window to catch that in. So you start by just throwing it up in the air with no spin, letting it fall down. You just do this a bunch of times until you've got it reasonably flat. And then you add a little bit of a twist to it. So it's the same throw, you're just adding a tiny bit of wrist. This isn't a pull, this isn't a throw, it's just like, it's that throw up in the air, but with some really slow spin. That disc may be spun twice while it was in the air. It's pretty slow. Doesn't need much for stability. So now that you got your pop pass instructions, the rest is pretty simple. You're just gonna catch it high up with your fingers over top. What I see a lot of beginners do is they turn their hand over and they try to catch it with their thumb on top, which makes sense because most of the catches you're gonna make early on as a beginner are gonna be around here at your waist, which is a good target for someone to hit. So you're gonna be catching the Frisbee like that. And it's awkward to get down there and try to catch it with your fingers over top. But a general rule is to do like a snow angel in the air, and where your hands sort of turn over, which for me is about shoulder height, it's probably the same for all humans, is when you start to reach up, you want to be grabbing with your fingers on top, above shoulder height. That's probably a good rule. You don't want to ever have your thumb over top when you're over shoulder height. That's just a really awkward way to catch, and I see a lot of drops because someone's trying to get a disc that's high up with their thumb over top. So we're practicing those two things, your pop pass and an overhand, fingers on top catch, thumb underneath. So you're doing pop pass, catch, and then switch grip, pop pass, left, pop pass, right hand catch. Or drop, depending on how good you are at it. So we're flipping, catching. And you can do that little motion too, spinning the disc in your hand. Useful thing to practice during the game, or for during games, is being able to switch between grips with one hand without having to do this with two hands. Because sometimes you've got your mark, you want to be able to switch, I don't know, to a thumber or something silly. Or maybe you catch it like this and you have to switch it and throw. So what I'm doing for my switch is I'm actually spinning the disc on my palm, only a half spin. So you can practice that too. Half spin, this is something you could actually sit at your desk and do. You don't even need to be outside. So that is happening between, let's see if I can do it with my left. Oh, that's awkward. Yeah, there we go. Super awkward, but you rep that out and you'll find you're doing it without even thinking during warm-up and during games. You're just like, you'll catch it like that, you land, you've already spun it, and you can throw. So let's do this really slowly, and this is the whole drill. Pop pass, catch, spin, pop pass, catch, spin, pop pass, catch, spin, pop, catch, spin. So this is like push-ups for ultimate Frisbee, for your hands. Just developing good hands. And then you'll find during the game, when you have this high up thing, you can jump and catch it, spin, pop to somebody else. That one bounced off my thumb. That's fine, you just keep going. Oh, that's a wiggly one. And that's actually kind of useful too, because sometimes you'll get that wiggly pop pass. So your left hand might replicate that for you. And you're getting better at reading those and timing and grabbing them out of the air. So let's see if we can do not as high, just kind of in front of my face. Playing with the height, getting that grip switch in there. See if I can clean up my left pop pass. Whew. Right's nice and smooth, left is terrible. That's better. So yeah, you just do this for a while. You can do this to warm up before your game. You can do it because you're bored and you have no friends, which is my case right now. No friends at all. It's a long weekend, everybody's out at cottages. I'm in my backyard playing Frisbee with myself, but getting a ton of touches and really just repping the shit out of these motions so that I don't have to play a whole season and, you know, get exposed to maybe 30 of these types of throws and catches. I can get 200 of them in my backyard and really just kind of drive up my experience with this type of motion. It's a really common motion to have in a game, that high up catch, one hand, when it's like it's a joust, two people go up, and whoever can get their hand up there the highest comes down with the disc. You want to have the top of your reach, you want to be able to grab it as high as you can with both hands. You want to be coming down like that. You're going to reach, everyone says, yeah, grab with two hands, and that's great, but I'm only reaching that high with two hands. With one hand, I get the benefit of my shoulder shrug, right? I get to twist my body, and I probably get an extra half foot just because I'm going up with one hand. And that's how you win a disc in the air. So you're practicing all these different skills. A fairly simple exercise here. I'll also throw some footage up at the end of this if you're still watching, where you can practice more aggressive backhands over a body of water, or if you're hardcore, you can do it over sand or over grass. But I was doing it over just a beach, some shallow water at a beach. You throw the disc out. Hopefully the wind is onshore, so it's blowing the disc back to you like a boomerang. So you do your backhand up at an angle, comes back down, and this is where you get to practice reading the disc and laying out. If you've misread it a little bit, you can lay out right into the water. So that's a great skill to have, especially because the disc's wet. So you're actually replicating like a rainy day game, reading the disc in the wind, throwing the disc in the wind, and then running, catching a disc that's coming down at a hard angle, which is a tough skill to develop. And then, yeah, laying out into a disc like that. So I'll put some of that footage up. Maybe I've already played it and you're just listening to me talk about something you've already seen. But yeah, these are some exercises that you can use when you're like me and you just have no friends today. But lots of gusto to play some Frisbee by yourself. Anyway, if this video helped you, please hit the thumbs up. If you want more, subscribe. Thanks.